Okay, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Precision 3.2 Handicap race. We're on Dorking. What is it? The Dorking COCKEREL hill climb. And as I say, it's a handicap race where you're asked to adjust your weight so that you come in at 3.2 watt kilos. So we got the big lads and we got the small lads and those in between, all changing the weight to try and make this a pretty fair competition. Now, I haven't been keeping check on this series because it's normally covered by Riley's team, V-Cycling News. So I'm covering it tonight because I know that they're not covering it, and I did ask permission to cover the event. So we'll see how it goes. I'm basically testing out still my new stream on my M1 Mac. We did a recording at the earlier part of the week and it was very stuttery. So I changed all the settings and let's hope we have some smooth action tonight and no glitches. But I'll report on that as we go into the race. There's a really good turnout. You can see there's 82 riders at the moment, and I've actually been trying to keep an eye on the rider sign-up list, which incidentally, if you go to the RGTDB page, it's virtually insignificant because it only shows 36 sign-ups, and you can see from the graphic here. In fact, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit more and show you. We've got 83 riders online, which is phenomenal. This must be one of the better turnouts for this race. I think I've covered it once in the past. I'm not sure. It's certainly, if I was well enough, it's certainly a race that I would like to take part in myself, but I'm a long way off doing that at the moment. But we'll see what happens. And like I say, I am quite looking forward to this tonight. It should be a good race, and it's an area I know very well. I used to live down this end of the world for a short time, so yeah. And I'll cover the race in its entirety, folks. So we'll get the start, the middle, and the finish for you. And they're still lining up, so this is an impressive turnout, 86 now, and even more. So can we hit the magic 100 number? That's the question. As I say, every second that goes by, another rider's joining. So now, like I say, I'll try and do my best with the names, but obviously with such a big field and this is more like a club affair. I may well struggle with first names tonight. I'll use RGT as much as I can, but as I say, it only shows a limited number of sign-ups. So I'll do the best I can in terms of names, but I can always call out the ones that are on the screen, providing the riders have got them switched on. So and then I'll be returning tomorrow night to cover the Moonriders final stage 6, final part of that tour, and I'm looking forward to that stream. That'll be by ZMS, and I'll be the commentator. So, but I've not been doing an awful lot of streaming on my own channel recently. It's more a case of I've been copying streams and then uploading them to my channel. So I'm still, as I say, sorting out the glitches. 92 now, so climbing all the time. I really do like this new interface, the new app, but there are some issues with the keyboard and mouse. There's a 5 to 10 second delay from clicking or pushing a button on the keyboard. And it is definitely not my keyboard and mouse, because I swapped them out for manual versions. Anyway, the race is getting underway, folks. So I'll do my best to stay with the action. It does look a bit glitchy again, and I suspect that's because of the total number of riders. So let's see if we can get to the front as we watch David Bookham push off the front, and he's quickly established a 30-meter gap. So let's see what happens here, and can they pull him back? Now they're using the very tree-lined skin tonight, so I could struggle with this one, trying to stay with the action. But David looks like he's well off the front, so let's go down and see who's chasing him. We've got Darren, Perkins, and Wayne from PRT. They're the only names that are showing at the moment, but and they've got him in sight, so perhaps they're not going to with more joining. And the bigger this group becomes, the more likelihood there is of catching. Now it's very, very glitchy again, and I've got this on pretty low settings as well, so I'm really not happy with my setup for streaming at the moment. I changed to an M1 Mac, and it should be a lot better than this. The processing power is there, but this is terrible. So I'll do the best I can. I'll stay with it as best we can. Let's go to the orbit can, and then there we go. That's a better view, because we can't and we'll stay with the front of the action until it starts to settle down a little bit. Now, how long is this course? It's 25 kilometers tonight, as we watch Darren catching up with Bookham. I don't know whether Darren is his first name, Darren W. And who's that that's gone off the front? Now, Perkins. So they are working together somewhat. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit. Now, obviously, I have to change views, don't I? I have to zoom out. I can't use the normal cameras unless we can we get. Let's see what we've got. Drone cam might give me a better view. I need to look at the. No, we don't want motor cam. Race cam. There we go. We just saw the riders behind chasing. But this is not a very good view, so I'm gonna be playing around a little bit. This is basically a test broadcast, folks, but I will get to the action. Let's see if we can go. There we go. I'm back to my own manual mode now, which means I can basically click through the riders and go down through the field. So, barring the trees, we might be able to get a look at who else is in the running here near the front of the race. As you can see, Ferreira, De Jong, Will Usher's there, and Wayne as well. See if we can't get further down. Jan Janssens is there. Who else we got? Vesper. I've seen Jessen a bit further up. Jan Janssens a good strong rider. De Jong, we've already mentioned him. Who else we got behind De Jong? Landman. Closing up a little bit. IK, don't know who IK is. He's riding with, and Jones from the Isle of Man. Jazzmonger. I'm basically working my way down the field here, folks, to see what's happening a bit further behind. Vialis, Kreibel from the States, and he's riding with Marty, the Spaniard. Miranda from Portugal. Fulton from out of Ireland. Harrison from the UK. Paul, I think that's the German flag. And who's that next to him? Reuter next to him with Lang coming on behind. And then a little bit further back, we got Matthew I can't call out every name, folks. So if you don't hear your name, and you can clearly see that not every rider is showing the names, unless I actually manage to get them highlighted, and then they will probably show up. It's nice to see that 3R have got a rider in Austin again. And sorry, no, it was probably Ian Hurst from 3R. We watch this group. Katie. There's Lou Ricks in the precision coaching kit. Now, obviously, he's got his own kit, but he's riding in the PRT kit tonight. Siska catching him. Probably going to go sailing on past. Yep, there we go. So Lou will probably try and get on the wheel and take a bit of drafting. The trees are really going to cause an issue tonight for me because it is a very tree-lined course. I mean, it looks great for the riders, but it's not brilliant for the coverage. As we watch Alves again from Portugal and Turner from England, not far behind. There's Turner. And then you've got Teixeira and Randall riding together, another Portuguese rider. And then you've got a couple of bots here. There might be a couple of real life riders in the middle of them, but it doesn't look like it. This Fontaine there. So Fontaine is taking advantage of some of the bots. Looks like he's riding with 3 or 4 bots there. And here you can see more bots further back in the pack. And they'll be helping a couple of riders that are towards the back of the pack. But mostly these look like bots. Bots are basically the programmed riders, folks, that are put in. I mean, with such a high field, to be fair, you don't need them. And I feel they should have been left out because we've got 93 riders online now as we're watching Robin. I'll get to the front again shortly, folks. We'll just continue just very quickly. We'll work his way back through. Like I say, if you're not called out, don't get upset. You may well get called out later on in the race, as we've got Schlein, the German, in 72nd place. But a lot of these are bots. There must be an awful lot. Siska, 75th from Canada. And you can see how many bots we've got here. There must be nearly 50 bots. Van Spietel and Tartaruga, sorry. Again from Portugal. Van Spietel is from Belgium rider. Trepanier from Canada. And Crate from where I'm living at the moment, Holland, the Netherlands. This is the other usher. I don't know if it's Brenda or Barbara, is it? Anyway, I know that we've got 2 ushers riding tonight. Don't know whether it's Father and well, I'm not even going to go there. It is in the description, but I've missed it, folks. Steve-O following on behind. He's a veteran in the F category. Nash, Nash, bringing up the rear. Asta behind. We're getting very close. There's me. And we got Cabramanca, and I think that's the last rider on the road. It is. So now we'll go back to the start. When I say me, I'm not officially riding this race, folks. Obviously, I have to be in it to cover it. Okay, let's go back to the front as we watch the Portuguese rider Santos now pushing on the hill. And you can see it's 10%. So let's see if we can't swing the camera around slightly, get a better view of behind him. There we go, folks. That's better. Now, I know it looks like they're coming downhill, but they're actually going uphill. But if I swing the camera any more, again, we'll get... this is very, very broken, as you can see. It's very glitchy. Can't help thinking I should have run this in higher res, because this is terrible. This is just it's unworkable. And it should be perfect. This, the settings I'm running this in, it should be perfect. So you live and learn. You can clearly see it's playing up. Even the mouse and keyboard are playing up. So climbing this steep hill. Okay, so who have we got chasing? We got Pereira and Jansen's chasing. And then we're back to Vesper. So we'll have a look at the top 10. Marty, Vialis, Perkins, Jessen, and who's the other Portuguese rider? Runa. And who's that with him? Can't quite see. Bancross. There's another rider sandwiched in there somewhere. Wayne. There we go. I wondered who it was. So Wayne's in there as well. And back to the front, you can see that Santos is now pulling out a bit of a gap. He's this is supposed to be a 3.2 handicap, and he's doing 4.7 there without going into the red, which suggests to me this is not exactly in the spirit of the handicap, but that's not for me to judge. That's for the commissaires. But it does look like he's over the agreed limit for this event. Surely you can't be putting out 4.9 there, 5 watt kilos, and he's not going into threshold. So definitely misconfigured here from Santos. But as I say, I'm only covering the event. It's not for me to judge the riders. We do know from covering the Flemish, the 3.2 Flemish, which I covered at the weekend, that there are riders that are misconfigured. And we had 2 that had to be disqualified from the Flemish race that were way over the 3.2 watt kilos handicap. And I simply called them out, and then it was up to the commissar, to the race organizer, to take a decision. And I think he I think he disqualified 2 riders. So that's all I can do. I can just simply mention that I think a rider is misconfigured, and sometimes it's it's no fault of the rider. So I will put that in as well, folks. Sometimes it's not the fault of the rider; they don't know how to set the system up. But sometimes it is. I mean, there's one particular rider. I'm not going to name him and shame him, but there's one particular rider from out of Spain who rides in a lot of events, and he knows he's misconfigured, and he doesn't make any attempt to change his settings and get himself sorted. And the sad thing is that he gets results as well. Not everybody realizes, and he does get results. So I think there's a strong case for riders self validating themselves, and there's various ways that you can do that. There's the Ride Fair Facebook group, there's the bio esports bio passport website, biopassport.com I think it is. So there's different ways that you can verify yourself. You can get a webcam and do a pain camera, like riders doing the Moon Riders tour, and they did in the Tour du Alps. John Beams, who won the tour, he used a webcam throughout to show us that his performance was genuine. And there's quite a few other good riders that do that as well. As we watch these 2, I mean, Jan Janssens is a well-known rider, good rider, and a fair rider. And I think I can safely say the same for Ferreira as well. I think Ferreira's a fair rider. I've covered him before. And it looks like he's looking at the watt kilos they're putting out. It does look like they are configured correctly. Whereas if you look at the watt kilos that Santos is constantly putting out, he's not fallen below 4 watt kilos at all. So he's definitely misconfigured. And in fact, I'm just going to alert the there we go. And then the organizer can do with that information what he wants. All I can do, report it. Okay, as we watch this small group, the 400 meters behind Janssens and Ferreira, so there's an opportunity to catch up. We've got another hill coming up, so that's a place where they can possibly push and get back on. And they are bringing the gap down, so because obviously they're on the downslope and the riders in front are on the valley, soon to be on the climb. So this gap will probably come down to about 300 meters, I would have thought. And then it's just a case of can they pull it back even further. Let's see if I can't get a better view, folks, and zoom in a bit. There we go. As I say, you have to bear with me when it comes to trying to get through the trees here. If you're listening, event organizers, try and use courses where there aren't as many trees. Jeez, this is difficult. I mean, look at it. You basically can't get through the bloody trees. Let's see if we can swing around and get behind them. There we go. You've got to be so careful doing it, though, because if the road goes the other way, you lose sight of them. And there we go. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Let's zoom out now. There we go. Have a look at the road in front of them. That's better. Okay. So we'll just quickly have a look at the front. I'm not even going to bother with Santos because he's definitely misconfigured. So how far are these guys behind you? Oh, it's good to see the catching him, actually. So that's nice. Some big numbers being put out here as well at the front. But yeah, I mean, Santos is pulling away again, but these two are putting in really good efforts here. Above threshold, when the figures go red, it means that the rider's riding above their FTP, functional threshold power. And what that means is they can't maintain it for a lengthy period of, or at least they shouldn't be able to maintain it for a lengthy period of time. So there are some, I mean, for a handicap race, there are some big numbers being put out here. Struggling with the trees again, as you can see, folks. Let's try and swing it around a little bit as we get the riders coming on. There we go, that's better. I'm hoping as we get towards the latter end of the course, we get into more open countryside rather than this tree-lined roads, because it's really, look, it's a nightmare to try and cover a race from when you're using. I mean, you can switch to the automatic cameras, but they don't give you the opportunity to flick down between the riders. You're basically stuck on whichever rider you happen to be on, and you can't do what I'm doing here, which is basically work my way through the field. Now, I'm not complaining. I mean, I love what RGT have done here, and the fact that we can even use software like this to flick through the riders is fantastic. But with a little bit more forethought, we could sort of like have a few less trees by using another skin. So on a course like this, which is very twisty and very windy, it doesn't make sense to use this particular skin. Use the more open one. And then broadcasters are going to be able to cover the action a little bit better. As we watch, Ian Hurst has come well up the pack, hasn't he? Now, so he's doing well. Watch. I think this is Jan Hansen as well. Jong. So again, is that's Darren next to him, Darren W. And Miranda, Landman, Matthew, and is it Keith Lang? I'm terrible with names. Kribel. No, it's Kurt. Of course, it's Kurt Lang. I should remember, folks, but I've got the worst memory in the world. There's Lou again, as I say, wearing, and two PRT riders together there. So Tiberius, yeah, we've seen him many times. Fontaine and Reuter. I'm trying to catch them before they're hidden by the trees. Jazzmonger, David Brokow. And don't forget, he was the early leader, so he's fallen back. Razula. And who's that with him? Jones from the Isle of Man. Iska. Katie. Dana, Andy Gade. Oh, my teammate. And again, I ought to remember his name. It's a strange name, and I ought to remember it, but I can't. Barry. Iska. We will get back to the front, folks. I just feel it's it's only right that we cover the riders further down the field. And we've had a few drop out as well. You can see there's now 88. We had 90, was it 93 or 96 online? So we're losing some riders. Probably scared off by, 24% slope here, it's saying. Oh, 24%? You've got to be joking me. Let's go. Clicking through these bots now. 24.8%. 25%? You've got to be kidding me. Who puts a 25% slope in? Oh my God. Poor riders. Well, they're certainly being challenged tonight, that is for sure. You don't get, look, 24.8%. You don't get that very often. And this is further back, so there's two sections of 25%. Oh my word. And let's just quickly go through the bots. Oh, there we go. We had Byler. On the 24.8%. He's wearing the Stages jersey. Oh, that must hurt. That really must hurt. Okay, have we got... Are they all bots now? Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah. Oh, we've got... Lantern Rouge is Usher. So, at the back. So let's go back to the front. Not that fella. Let's have a look at these two. The 330 meters behind the lad up the front, Santos, but I genuinely believe Santos is misconfigured. I don't know whether I got a response to my my message or not. Let's have. I'll just wait for the chat to come back on screen. If anybody is watching on YouTube and they want to send a message, feel free to do so. I've got the YouTube chat is open. So if you do want to send a message on YouTube, you're more than happy to do so. Or in the chat here, in the in-game chat as well, if you're listening. There's the halfway point, folks. That's the yellow banner. So the halfway. And I need to click on this, don't I? How far? These are 430 meters behind. So with one big hill to come, yeah, it's looking like we may be looking at the top 5 placings here, although let's have a look. Jessen, this small group may well pull them back. Deegan, Jessen, Bankras and Vesper, 4 riders. They're working nicely together. So if they can, they're only 200 meters behind and they are bringing it down slightly. I'm saying that it's pegged. It looks to be pegged, so at 230. So if they can pull it back, and they've got a downhill section coming, so that's an opportunity to do so. But they need to work together. Bankras has gone off the front. But they really, and I think that's Wildagan that we've just seen. Let's just follow him actually. Yeah, that was Wildagan going off the front. Yeah, come on, lads, work together. Get on each other's wheels. Just keep the power down. No, but they're losing ground. But you can expect them to lose ground until the riders in front hit the valley, and then because they're still on the downhill, you will actually see the gap come down slightly. Let's just see if I can't flick the camera gently round and get behind them. Have a look. There we go. There, got them. As you can see, they're working nicely together. It's a fine art trying to work these cameras, in spectate mode. If for anybody that hasn't done it, just have a go at it and try, and then you'll see. I mean, the guys that do it perfectly, they don't have to do a good job. I don't do it perfectly by any means, but I don't do a bad job. But it's difficult. It's hard work because of the vegetation. Okay, let's have a look and look at the group in front then. These two, so they're fourth and fifth, Vialis and Marty, and they're working nicely together as well. You can see Marty's coming through doing his turn on the front. So yeah, if these two work nicely together, they're not completely out of it. There's plenty of racing still to go. 11 kilometres still to go for these folks. What have the guys in front got? They've got 10.6, so they're 400 metres behind these two. And like I say, you might think I'm being a little bit unfair, but I genuinely think that this is, I mean, he hasn't dropped. This is a 3.2 handicap, and he hasn't dropped below 4 watt kilos since I've been watching him. You can clearly see he's not dropping below 4 watt kilos. So that means he's over the limit. And he's going to come in well over the limit. So, yeah, that's why I'm not really spending a lot of time watching the fellow. And yeah, we'll see what happens with these two. Can they? I don't think they're going to catch him if he's doing that higher wattage in front of these lads. Then it's very unlikely that they're going to catch him. There was a point where I thought they might, but he pulled away. And then these are the two on the road. Again, as I say, they've got the work cut out. 360 meters. That's a tough gap to close. If the riders in front of you are working nicely together. I mean, these two are working very nicely together and looking really smooth, but I just don't see them closing the gap. These four are also, look, as we watch Deegan coming to the front again, Vesper on his wheel, and they're also working. Out of these four, it does look to me, as I'll just highlight him, it does look like Deegan is the strongest of these four. Or the other riders are just basically letting him do the work. He certainly looks the strongest because he's the one that's been pushing it off the front, and maybe the other riders need to do the same, really push the pace up a little. And as I say that, they are going into threshold. So yeah, the riders are working well together, these riders. Okay, here we are. Here's my teammate, Mr. Austin. And he's in the Masters category. That's what the M means. Now he's 300 meters behind and falling. But he's got this downhill section, so he could potentially close up a little. But he's in no man's land, really. He's managed to distance the rider behind him, which is this fella, Wayne, from PRT. So He's a good distance in front of Wayne, but he's too far really behind the group of 4 in front of him, I think, to catch them. But everything can change on this final hill, folks, so never say never as we have a look at this group here now. We got IK, Matthew, Fulton, and Ian's joined up with them. That's nice. Okay, so they're working well together as well. They look. Matthew looks to be pulling them along at the moment, but yeah, nice tidy little group, nice tightly bunched. Let's work his way through them and look who's behind. Then we got Darren, Will Usher, and Landman. Will Usher, of course, is the organizer of this race. I contacted him early today to ask him was it okay if I covered it, and just to get the go ahead, because I didn't want to be stepping on anybody's toes. And it looks like Darren needs to grab the wheel. And let's have a look what's happening behind him as we watch these riders. In fact, you can see I think Runa's struggling to keep hold of the wheels as well here. We'll just watch him and see whether, and you can clearly see that it's I mean, I'm only at 30 frames a second and this should be 60 because I'm running at a very low resolution, 720, and I've turned off a lot of the graphical processing as well, and this is terrible. This is really glitchy, so I don't know. Unless it's that RGT is just not yet optimized for the new M1 Mac processors, because that's the only thing I can think of. It should be run. I mean, it runs games, top end games perfectly. You know, I've had as 140 frames a second in some of my games, so I don't understand why I'm getting such poor performance in RGT. There we go. So, sorry, I went the wrong way there. I meant to go backwards. Oh, Runa looks like he's toast. He's either got to drop out, he's decided to call it a day, or I don't know what. But let's go to the riders in front of him anyways. We'll come back to him later. As you can see, these are the riders that overtook him as I was watching him pull on. And there's Lou. Krybel. Who else we got in here? De Jong. And who's that rider there? Perkins. So a nice tidy group here. Mid-pack. With Krybel pulling them along. And these are the two that they're chasing. So you can see this group. This is very glitchy. I hope Darren's no, he's working tonight, isn't he, Darren from ZMS? Because he's helping me with my settings, but this is just awful. And maybe I do need to run it in the highest settings and just accept that it's glitchy, because I'm not getting any benefit from dropping it down in resolution and frame down to 720. I'm just not getting any benefit whatsoever. Let's go have a look back at the front as we want. Oh, now then we've had a split here. So Jan Janssens has dropped Ferreira 40 odd meters and opening up a gap on this final climb. So he's looking very, very strong as well. Yeah, looking very strong. 13, 4th place. For a handicap, this I'm seeing figures in this race that just blow my mind for a handicap race. I just assumed that with the handicap, riders would be limited, but it looks the opposite, to be honest. Riders look to be putting in some really, really good figures. Oh well. Nice to cover the race, but maybe I need I need to read the manual and find out exactly what is supposed to be going on here. Apparently, you divide you adjust your weight so that your handicap is stable at 3.2. I'm not quite. I need to reread the instructions and find out whether I've got that right or not. So these riders are all on. You can see all on this final climb. Now, it's a mixture of orange and red. So you've got the red sections where it goes sort of like 6% and above, and then you've got the orange sections where it's below that. So it's not a particularly steep climb, isn't this? It averages, I think, 5%. And there's Deegan. He was doing a good ride earlier. Struggling on this 8.7% there, just as he took that hairpin. So we watch the Dutchman Bancross behind him. Just go back to the front. What we got remaining? Let's just check on the front. I don't want to miss the action at the front. 5.8 kilometers, folks. So yeah, at this pace, okay. I definitely won't miss the action for you. And you can clearly see from the white dots on the screen. What happens with the white dots is the largest white dot, what we call the paddle, the largest of the white dots, that's the currently highlighted rider. And what that does is that shows me that there's two riders in front of them. Now, one of them's Santos, the rider that I believe is a flyer, and he's in the green section. But if I go up to Jansen's, you can see the paddle changed, and he's just about to finish off the red section here. So as I work my way back down, you see that the paddle changes, the focus changes on the rider, and that's how I am able to tell where the riders are on the road. Now, all I need to do is keep an eye on the second dot to know where. Who is it again? It's Jansen's, isn't it? So I can check where Jansen's is, even though I'm working my way down the field, looking at the other riders. So I always know where, providing it's working, I always know where Jan Jansen and the rider chasing him is, and I can watch that battle in real time. Now, just as I say that, we just saw the first dot disappear, but it's come back again. So I just wondered whether he'd pulled out or not. He's doing a steady 5.2 watt kilos there. So Will Usher will make the decision, I think, on whether he's a legit rider or not. Anyway, we'll check out on, here we go, 6.8% section as Deegan has a bit of a dig. This will be an interesting battle, and we'll catch up with these riders again as we're coming into the finish, because there's a few riders together here, and that's going to make for an exciting finish. sometimes the racing isn't just about who wins the race, it's about the battles that go on lower down. And if I zoom out, you can clearly, let's see if I can zoom, there you go. You can clearly see that there's a good battle going on here between these 4 riders. So that's going to be exciting as we get further into the finish. But let's and these 4 as well. So you've got 2 groups of 4 riders coming in with 5.6 kilometers to go, coming into the finish. I mean, Matthew looks like he's trying to distance the riders behind, but yeah, I think these 4 will sort of switch and swap positions a little bit before they're done. And this is 10th to 13th place, so they'll be these 4 riders will all be wanting to get a top 10 place, so they'll be fighting it out on the final slope, which are not far off finishing actually. So let's work his way further back and have a look what's happening behind them. You've got Wayne here from PRT. He's in no man's land, 100 meters behind, 120 meters behind, and 100 meters in front of the riders behind him, which happens to be Miranda. So and again, Miranda, probably the only possibility he's got is to catch Wayne, but it doesn't look like he's going to do so. And then he's just got to make sure he holds off these 2 riders behind, 3 riders behind. And if these 3 work together, they could potentially pull him in. But these are all fascinating tactics, folks. And I enjoy covering as we watch Cabamanca. Let's just highlight him. Look at him go. Now he's definitely wanting a top finish, or a higher finish, should I say, as he puts in a threshold effort to try and drop the riders that he's with. And you can see where the paddle is. So he's coming towards the top of the ride, and riders are going to be flying into the finish because it's either slightly uphill or slightly downhill. And I think it's a slightly uphill finish to the race, but you can see from the green graphic there's even a bit of blue in there. So yeah, there's a fair bit of downhill still to be ridden. Have a look and see what's happening behind him. You've got Miranda, Fontaine, Chasing, and Alves. So these 3 riders, and they pull him back. They're 80 odd meters behind. I'm still getting the glitches, folks. There's Will Usher, the race organizer. And it looks like chat. Nobody's actually using the chat tonight, so that's a little bit of, with so many riders online as well. That's a bit of a surprise, but maybe we'll get some chatting a bit later on when the riders are coming into the finish, or when they've finished. Hopefully a few riders will stay behind. Now it looks like we've got a good battle going on behind Landman, and I think they'll catch Landman, so let's have a look and see who they are. We've got Kribel, IK, who else we got in here? We've got Lou, and who else? Come on. Tiberius. And there's one other rider I haven't named. I think he's just, yeah, Lang. Now Lang needs to really put in an effort here, and he must be listening to me, because he puts in an effort to get on the wheels, and you've got to grab the wheels, and that will help them get Landman, who's in front. So these 5 are going to become 6 very shortly. In fact, we'll stay with it for a little while and see if they can make the catch, and then we'll work his way a bit further back. But I can see where the riders are on the road, and the one I'm interested in is the second dot, as you can see, and he's pulled out. In fact, we'll come back to these and see whether they catch him, but let's go to the front. Not that fellow, but he's going under the 1 kilometer to go. But I'm not even going to cover that for the finish, because I just I'm convinced he will be disqualified. As we watch Jansen's coming into the finish, and he's got 2 kilometers to go. So you can see there's a huge distance between the first rider on the road and Jansen's here. And then to be fair, there's a good what we got. We got 1.9, 2.6, so 700. In fact, you can see from the rider list, 735 meters, and it's growing. So, and that's because Janssens is on the downhill section, so the gap is obviously going to go out until Ferreira goes over this rise. But he's not going to catch him, so that's your winner, folks. Jan Janssens is going to take the win. I can quite confidently predict that. We'll come back to him and watch him going under the banner. Ferreira will take second, and there'll be a good battle for third. So a podium spot up for grabs there. We'll make sure that we catch. Oh, and as we watch Bancross, the Dutchman, now he's wanting a third place here, and are the two riders going to get on his wheel, and is it going to be, oh, that's going to be exciting. We'll come back to that battle definitely as we watch Janssen coming into the 1 kilometre to go banner. I can't get my words out. Of course, I'm getting dry. I should have had a cup of tea at my desk. Exciting racing. There we go. There's the Flamme Rouge. So we'll see if I can not lose the rider by trying to turn behind and watch him come into the finish. There we go, as he comes into Headley. Nice touch that, putting the road signs. You can see that I complained earlier on about it being glitchy, and even with just one rider on the road, it is still glitchy. So this is definitely possibly an issue with the M1 Mac, and which is more than powerful enough, folks. I'm running 140 frames a second on some of my top end games, so it's definitely a problem that RGT isn't optimized on the M1s yet. As he's got 500 meters to go, so we're going to see the finish banner, and then I will very quickly swap to the riders behind. Let's hope we don't go too windy and I can actually watch him coming into the finish and not get blocked by the trees. Let's see. There we go. Yes, you can. You can clearly see the banner up ahead, and we'll just zoom in a little bit. So here's your winner, Mr. Janssens. Been a good ride. He's worked hard. Still think his figure's a bit high for an handicap, but this has been a good ride by Janssens. And there we are, over the line. So we'll switch to the next rider on the road, which is Ferreira. But there's a good battle. I'm really looking forward to the battle behind, because there's a good battle for third place, folks. And it looks like a three-way tie. So we'll just watch Ferreira coming in. He's got 400 meters now. You can see the banner, but wait till we get to the action behind, because they're motoring. They are really motoring, and they're all together. Three riders together. Bialis, Bancross and Marty for third place. So who's your money on? It looks like Bialis might be pulling out a gap, but I'm going to stay with Ferrari just for the moment. Yeah, Bialis is putting in 8.9 watt kilos, 8.8. Yeah. So he's putting in a sprint to try and break the two other riders. It looks like he's going to get third. I think that's the Polish flag, isn't it, for Bialis? The white. There we go. There's Ferrari. And there's Bialis. So he takes third place with a huge effort to finish. Absolutely huge effort. But then fourth place, you've got this rider. Let me zoom out. No, he's going to make... Bancross is also dropped the rider behind. So Bancross takes fourth. And then we've got Marty in fifth. And Will Dagan, let's just zoom in. We'll get sixth. Just knock one off the numbers here, folks, because and that's only my take. That's not official. That's just my take on it. There's Vesper and Jessen coming in, and Fulton. So all the riders approaching the finish now. I'll try and get every rider over the line. There's a 5-10 second delay between me pressing the button and the camera switching. So I'm automatically trying to do it a little bit early so that we don't miss the action. So if there is glitches, that's why. There we go. There's Matthew. In fact, it does look like it's sped up a little bit. As keyboard didn't look to be as laggy then. Try it again here. There's Matthew. Yeah, it's actually looks to be working better. There's Austin. First coming. So that helps me certainly. Because when it was oh, and Fontaine just gets Hurst. Now is Ian gonna put in a sprint? No, I think he's saying nope, my legs have had enough. I'm not gonna contest it. You can have it. So Fontaine gets 13th place. Ian Hurst gets 14th, sorry. There we go. And then you've got, I think it's David Alves. Or David. 15th place. Wayne from PRT. I think this is the first, is this the first PRT rider I've seen? There we go. Well done, Wayne. And Miranda from Portugal. Putting in a above threshold effort to finish here. Well done. Yeah, and again, must be listening to me. Really digging deep here. 6.5 watt kilos. So definitely putting in a bit of a sprint. Well done, Miranda. I love to see that. That is so good to see at the end of a race. Landman. Look at Will Usher pushing out 8.4 watt kilos. Wow. He's obviously trying to, because there's a good battle going on behind this fella. So, in fact, Will Usher's trying to catch him. Look, there you go, Will Usher. Just got him on the line. Wow. What a race. Sorry for getting excited, folks. That was exciting as we watch. Will Usher. Competitiveness just kicked in there, didn't it? Oh, this is great. I love it. I really love it. What a good race, Will. Well done. And that's why I love watching further down the field, folks, because sometimes you get better battles, and I know this from the big tours I've covered. You get better and more exciting battles going on further down the field than what you do with a runaway winner. You really do. It's such good fun to watch as well, to commentate on. As we watch Darren trying to leave behind, and does so. Darren leaves behind Perkins. So, and all three riders look going into the red. So everybody's really working hard for this finish. I mean, this is amazing racing. Well done, Darren. Yeah, good. And well done, Perkins, as well, for giving him a run for his money. As we watch Lazimanga. And again, you know, you have to take your hats off to these riders further down the field, folks, because they're all putting in threshold efforts here. I mean, this is really good riding, and I'm enjoying it. I hope you are too. Yeah, Will's just saying in the comments that Santos might be disqualified. Well, it's your decision, Will, but all I can do is report the facts, mate. And he rode the full race over 4 watt kilos. So, complete. I don't think I saw him go under 4 watt kilos more than twice, and then only very, very briefly. We tried to catch all the riders coming in. So, it's entirely your decision, sir. And as soon as I get chance to find a rider that's not coming into the finish, I'll post a comment to wish everybody well and say well done, because this is I've enjoyed this. All right, you can clearly see my system isn't right, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to cover it, because I wanted to do more testing, and I will choose another ride another couple of rides this weekend to do the same with. basically test broadcast to try and iron out these issues. Because on the old system, I didn't have any of this. You probably need to go back and look at my footage, but my footage was perfect. This is just almost, well, it's a bit upsetting, to be honest, because with the latest hardware, you would expect it to be a lot better than this. There you see, and that's the problem with being an early adopter as well of the new Mac stuff. As you watch the other OTR rider coming in, and again above threshold effort. Well done, lad. There you go, and Jan Hansen coming in behind him. Here's Katie. Now, how far's Katie's got 890, so I'm just going to send a message. There we go. It's just nice to give them a well done, because now I'm going to stay with the action, folks. So I'm gonna get apart from the bots. Obviously, I'm not going to watch all the bots coming in. I guess there's a tidy number of them, but I will try and get all the real life riders coming into the finish, providing there's nobody sort of like silly distance behind, and I don't have to wait a long period of time. But yeah, I do like to try and get all the riders coming into the finish. As we watch Katie. Let's just have a look at the jersey. Is this the precision coach? Yeah, I think this is the precision coaching jersey. Yes, it is. Precision race team, rather. So I don't know whether there's different jerseys. There's a precision race team. There's precision coaching. Is it the same? It's on YouTube, Darren. I'll just post a message in a minute. I'll just watch Katie coming in, and then Asta coming in, and these two, and then hopefully we might get a bit of a gap as we watch Tartuga overtake Barry, and then Barry's going to come in. So there we go. Tartuga going over the line, Barry going over the line, and then I'll just get the next few riders in, then I'll message. Oh, and it looks like Robin's going to go for. Is he going to go for a sprint here? Get him on the line. Just got him on the line. So another battle there. Look, and these are the bots. So let me just message. Okay, let's just make sure we don't miss any of the. Yeah, these are all bots coming in, folks. But we do have a live rider somewhere. There we go. As we watch Steve-O coming in. Another bot. Two more bots. Two more bots. Two more bots. Yeah, just all we're watching now is the bots. I don't know. Oh, we've got a real life rider. There we go. Taking advantage. Very clever. Well done, Baylor. Taking advantage of the bot, which is a really sensible thing to do if you've got tired legs. Just get on the wheel and get that draft. And you can save a significant amount of watts. I'll come around now for the finish, but yeah. Oh, usually shouldn't be yawning on my broadcast. And have we got any more, or is that it now? Are we just work my way down the field? See how many bots there are now. Seriously, I mean, I'm going to watch Schlein coming in here with the bot, but there really is no need to have all these bots coming in when you've got. I mean, we had 90, I think 96 riders at the peak number. So with 96 riders, and yeah, all right, some of them were bots, but you certainly don't need them. Once you've got like 30 or 40 riders, you can dispense with the bots because riders will always find somebody to ride with, or should do. And most of them seem to be programmed around the 2.5, 2.6 mark as well. We watch Schlein, the German, coming into the finish. This is one of the reasons why I stay behind on the broadcast, because I think if the riders can be bothered to see out the stage, I think the least I can do is try and cover it in its entirety. And there's two riders a little way behind, but I will wait for them, providing the working and putting in the effort to finish. We'll soon know when we go and watch them. But well done. As I say, I'll mention it again, but I've loved covering this. Been nice to see. Okay, so a few more bots now before we get to the. And here's. I don't know whether this is the son of Will or. Is it male or female? I'm sorry, folks. I shouldn't know. It's definitely a male. So I think he said something about family. So this may be the son of Will. And if I've got that wrong, I apologise. But we'll watch him. He's got 1.8 kilometres to go. So we'll watch him coming into the finish. He's working hard. There we go. He's riding the nice Evo bike. At least I think, is it the Evo he's on? Yes, it is, yeah. Yeah, that's the same bike I ride in game. Very nice. But you can still see it stuttering, can't you? The graphics. So I definitely have more work to do to sort this out. But what I can do is I can, I mean, obviously I've got the settings for this broadcast saved in a file, so I can run them to the next series of settings and then do a comparison until we find out what's going to work. But I'll speak with somebody with a bit more experience. I'll have a word with Damon and let him watch this and see if he can help me. But I've already put into place a lot of what he's recommended, and it seems to have made, in fact, if anything, it's made it worse. And that's no reflection on what Damon told me. That's just the reality on the ground. I've changed the settings, and if anything, it's got much worse. So, I mean, I'm only getting 28 frames per second here, which is ridiculous. Like I say, I get 100 up to 140 on some of the games I play, like Call of Duty and that sort of stuff. So we've just got two riders to come in. We've got this rider here, and then a little way behind we've got Crete to come in. He's a Dutch rider. And we'll watch him come home because he's the Lantern Rouge. It doesn't look like any of the riders are hanging around at the finish either. Everybody's gone home for a shower. And while we're watching, I assume it's a youngster, this youngster coming in, we've got the Moon Riders Tour tomorrow night, folks, at is it 8:30? Yeah, it's 8:30 my time, which is Central European time, so that's 7:30 GMT, 7:30 19:30 GMT. And it's the last race of the series. It's been a 6-race series, been very exciting, 4 out of the 6 to count. And I think Wouter Class is currently leading the standings, although I don't know for sure because I haven't checked the overall. I will do so before tomorrow night's race. But yeah, it's been a very exciting tour. No Pins Race for R entered a significant number of riders into the tour, but have so far not reaped the rewards. So the last chance to do so tomorrow night, and they need to bring back the big. I'm saying they haven't reaped the rewards. They've had one win. One of their riders, Zach Harner, took an absolutely brilliant win. I think was it? There we go. We watch Mr. Usher coming in, and then we've got Crate. Yeah, an absolutely brilliant win, and can they get a second win tomorrow night? Because they'll be hurting. They've been really turned over. And we'll see what happens. 400 meters to go for Crate. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll just see if we can't flick the view. There we go. Flick the view around to see the finishing banner as he rides through the rain. And if you're still with me, folks, thanks very much for watching. It's been very enjoyable. And like I say, please do join me tomorrow night as I commentate on the Moon Riders Tour. And if not, I'm covering a couple of races at the weekend. Not sure quite what yet. Probably the Flemish again. So we'll see you at the weekend. I'll just watch this fellow come into the finish, and then we'll transition over to the thanks for watching screen. There we go. So as it says on screen, thanks for watching, everybody. Really enjoyed this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that like button, please. Help me grow the channel, and if you subscribe, you'll be notified of all the new stuff that's up and coming. I don't just cover OTR stuff, as you can see from tonight. I dip in and out of other races on RGT, and there's a lot of good stuff on my YouTube channel, so take a look, have a look if there's anything there that you might want to watch, and as I say, hit that like button. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll catch you later.